Thank you for joining us today for our digital marketing strategy report on electric vehicle manufacturer Rivian. Today, we will provide an overview of their current digital performance, their SWOT analysis. From there, we'll go into our campaign goals and our keyword search findings. And then we will provide a new potential website design to streamline that for the company. And then we'll wrap up our campaign with our search and display and email marketing campaign, along with our social media advertising. So let's get going on the digital performance. So you will see the video playing there that Rivian currently has a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing website. It takes advantage of conventions and makes it obvious what is clickable. And the desktop and mobile formats are nearly identical, which supports smaller screen sizes and a similar user experience. The problem is, as you scroll through, you lose that visual hierarchy, and there is too much info on the homepage that results in distractions. So further along in our presentation, Jake will walk through a new concept for the website. And then looking at the social media performance, you'll see that LinkedIn alone has more followers than Twitter and Facebook combined. And the goal of Facebook and Twitter are very similar to how the company is using LinkedIn and Instagram. So our campaign will primarily focus on LinkedIn and Instagram to educate and really build on that sense of community with the company. And next, I will hand it off to Catherine to go over the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for Rivian.
Thanks, Cody. So you'll see in the slide here, this is a general overview of our client Rivian's SWOT analysis. So first, starting with strength, the first being a first mover for electric vehicle trucks. So although Rivian is not a first mover in the electric vehicle industry, they are, however, a first mover when it comes to being the first electric truck company to introduce an electric pickup truck and actually get it into the hands of customers. And additionally, they have a familiar build and features that ones in the market looking for a truck would resonate with. If you think about it, if a consumer is in the market for a new truck, they're going to be quick to reference a Ford F-150, GMC Sierra, or Chevy Silverado, which all are in line with Rivian's design and features. So it really does make it a strength. And also it allows Rivian to focus on being an earthy, adventure-focused company whose mission is to inspire people to do more of the things they love while also minimizing the impact on the planet. And they also do so by creating a community called the Rivian Adventure Network. Now moving on to some weaknesses. The biggest area of improvement for Rivian is their supply chain obstacles. And they announced that they were having supply chain problems earlier this year that could severely constrain its production of their electric vehicles. But since then, they have taken the appropriate steps to combat this issue with the announcement of plans to build a $5 billion production plan in Georgia to help just accommodate this increased demand. They also do have a lack of physical controls and therefore a lack of the right to repair. So this may isolate regular truck users. And also they do have a higher price, but if you do look at electric vehicles in the industry, many of them are expensive. So this is just a weakness to all electric vehicles right now. And now moving on to opportunities, the first being a growing population that really cares a lot for environmental change and causes. Rivian does support a more eco-friendly viewpoint and perspective, and they've also made sure that all of their charging stations are made with 100% renewable energy. And in fact, even though Tesla right now is the current leader in electric vehicles, many are more in line with Rivian's mission, being more focused on the people and environment rather than Tesla and Elon Musk. Also, COVID has been a great opportunity for Rivian because with so much being shut down and people being indoors, it allowed for more people to go outside. And as we mentioned before, Rivian really encompasses that outdoor lifestyle for an adventure enthusiast. And they do also have some collaborations lined up, which includes a partnership with the Academia And that would provide a pop top tent, which would be mounted on the Rivian vehicles, and also some stand-up paddle boards, racks for those, as well as snowboards and bicycles. So again, really just encompassing that outdoor and adventure enthusiast lifestyles. And the threats we have already discussed, which are that EV infrastructure, stiff competition, and supply chain obstacles. And the only other one really is that the existing laws right now do not allow direct-to-consumer sales in Georgia, for example. So we're still really trying to help our client work through this threat. And I will now move it on to Jake for our next slide.
Thanks, Catherine. So when it comes to the goals of our campaign here, the target markets that we're looking at are generally people between the ages of 25 and 50, more specifically males who are making over 100,000 a year, or dual income houses that are making over 150 a year. General, as discussed before, anyone who's an adventurer or a coastal inhabitant, they're very likely to be interested in this brand. The biggest goals we have here are to inform the market that pre-order deliveries have begun, along with establish a sense of community with Rivian, share how Rivian is different than other EVs and legacy trucks, and address consumer hesitancy on going all electric, and educate how Rivian is helping build electric infrastructure. And I am going to be passing back to Catherine here.
Thanks, Jake. So now we will be going over our keyword research for Rivian. So keyword research, we learned, is the process of discovering which words and phrases a target audience, as Jake just mentioned, are using in websites searches, as well as searching answers to questions on certain search engines like Google, for example. And a keyword can be something from 1 to 2 words, as you can see here, to a phrase, which is how does pre-ordering a vehicle work? So we decided on these keywords collectively as a group. Many of them do have a high position as well as high search volumes. And although some do have a higher keyword difficulty, those mainly are our main products, which is our Rivian R1T and R1S Rivian. And so we aren't really worried about there being a lot of stiff competition in using that keyword other than within our company ourselves. And we chose for competitors, since so many are entering the market right now, like Hummer and Ford, we decided to make it more broad in order to expand our keyword search and get to more users. So we chose best electric trucks as one competitor to compare many different ones on the market and that will be entering the market, as well as best camping vehicles. And you will see a few of these keywords throughout our search and display ads, in email marketing, and social media ads. And this is just understanding the basics. So what we've really looked at when doing our keyword research. So we have volume, which is the average number of times a month a keyword was queried on Google. And this is on the national level. We do have the global volume level as well, but we focus mainly on the US. Keyword difficulty, which we talked about before, is an estimation of how easy it would be for our keyword to rank higher on a website using search engine optimization. Also trend, which is how much web interest searchers have shown in a given keyword in the past 12 months. Also intent, cost per click, and com. And I will be moving it back to Jake. You will see a few slides of just screenshots of each of our keyword researches for your review. And then we will be moving it on to Jake for our website design.
Thank you, Catherine. So going off of what Cody was saying before about Rivian's current website, while they do have quite an impressive website, we all agree that it's kind of hard to look at. It is, because as you're looking through it, the colors are all kind of like moving together with each other, and it kind of beats around the bush with what they're trying to accomplish. So I thought that making a more streamlined website, something more simple, and placing that pre-order button right in the front, smack dab in the middle, I think that will drive pre-orders greatly. And then next up here, I'm going to be passing over to Victoria.
So next we'll talk about our search ad campaign. So search ads are typically used to target audiences during their browsing activity. So you can see here that we're using Google, and the idea is that if a user were to search up the phrase electric truck, this sponsored ad would pop up first and draw the eye to this specific ad and links to Rivian. So the ads themselves should be based on specific keyword searches, and that targeted ads would reach corrected and interested parties. The header we have here, an electric truck built for whatever you call a road, emphasizes the camping and outdoorsy nature of Rivian as a company. And then the link itself is direct to Rivian's homepage. Next, the subtitle, then, the world's first electric truck by Rivian is shipping today, again emphasizes the fact that Rivian has that first electric truck, as well as the fact that it's the only truck that's currently in the hands of consumers. Reserve years today, again, this calls back to our overall campaign goal of increasing pre-orders. Next, we have some other internal links emphasizing the Rivian story, which is conservation, as well as general EV statistics, as well as emphasizing collaborations such as with the Trans-American Trail and any other overlaps they have with special interest partnerships. And then the R1T demo drives is something that Rivian had developed in order to help facilitate the increase of pre-orders, and then obviously a direct link to pre-orders themselves. The other type of ad that we're utilizing as well is display ads. So display ads differ from search in that display ads can be featured on websites outside of search engines themselves. So for example, if you're browsing a news article, this ad could appear on the side, and it would be based on it would be looking for a targeted audience based on the relevant browsing activity from that specific user. This ad itself features a lot of graphics with a lot of outdoor lifestyle and off-roading aesthetics. You can see there's sort of that earthy aesthetic that Catherine had mentioned before. The bold headline emphasizes that camping lifestyle. And then the sub-bullet below reinforces Rivian's selling point. It reiterates again that R1T is the world's first electric truck, heavily featuring over their competitors, and reinforces said keywords. Again, and then it ends with our call to action, and it draws attention to the ability for consumers to pre-order the vehicles and draws ties across the differing marketing campaigns. The third prong is email marketing. So this format we have here on the side would be something that you would open up in your inbox. The email campaign that we have right here highlights collaborations and influencer partnerships that are aligned with Rivian's marketing goals. So this sort of newsletter feature is very similar to ones that come out of brands such as REI or Outdoor Research. This particular newsletter is featuring a collaboration between Rivian and the Honnold Foundation, founded by Alex Honnold. Alex Honnold rose to fame as a result of the documentary movie Free Solo, which won an Academy Award. This movie was focused on his ropeless ascent, climbing up the face of El Capitan in Yosemite. They chose this collaboration strategically, as rock climbing is, one, an outdoorsy activity, two, it's a sport that it continues to dramatically increase in popularity, with its primary demographic being majority male millennials, which, as mentioned before, is also the targeted audience for Rivian vehicles as well. The email itself highlights the EV benefits. The header of the email is "Your electric adventure starts now," and then it goes on to then highlight in those big white letters the benefits of what an EV vehicle can do and what the benefits of this specific collaboration is for the environment. Beyond that, we have a Learn More About Rivian section, which reinforces our overall call to action. It has quick links to learn more about Rivian itself, as well as links to purchasing, service, and specifically highlights pre-orders and social media platforms like Instagram, in which we have other campaigns. Next.
Thank you, Victoria. And as Victoria alluded to in our other campaigns for social media, our first campaign will be with Instagram. One thing we've noticed on both Instagram and LinkedIn is that Rivian employees and owners love to take pictures of their Rivians in the wild and share them. So we wanted to play on that concept with our Rivian in the Wild campaign, which will have its own hashtag. And one way to encourage and add an incentive to crowdsourcing these images is to create a contest that would actually drive pre-orders. So as you can see in this post, the idea is to have users post their best photo using that hashtag Rivian in the Wild. And then every week for a month, every Sunday, the social media team would then share on the Rivian Instagram account story the 10 best photos. And those users would receive a code for 50% off their pre-order deposit. So ultimately tying back to our ultimate goal of driving pre-orders while using that community building concept. And you'll notice even in the hashtags, these will line up with the keywords that we have chosen. Even one example in there is earlier, you might have noticed the how does pre-ordering a vehicle work? That is not a keyword search that currently has a high usage, but it is very low difficulty. So we are going to use this campaign to increase that search and have Rivian at the top of it. Going beyond that to LinkedIn. LinkedIn, the account is very much video focused, and we know that the video format has a higher level of engagement. So we want to play into that and really use that imagery, but also the education aspect of what Rivian is doing. So the video will be focusing on both the sustainability as it relates to gas and the earth in general, and then also that infrastructure development, speaking back to those partnerships that we had previously discussed, partnering with national parks to have Rivian charging stations. And then you'll also notice the demographics for LinkedIn align very well with the Rivian target market. That 25 to 54 range is about 77% of LinkedIn users. So this is a perfect opportunity to take the education aspect of this Rivian in the Wild campaign to drive pre-orders. And even within this, we would maintain that link directly back to our pre-order website. So in conclusion, the ultimate goal of our campaign is to drive pre-orders. So we're going to do this by increasing user engagement in social media, specifically Instagram and LinkedIn. We will drive targeted keyword searches, some with high difficulty that we know we are already using, but also with low difficulty to get a tangible benefit. And then we will educate and reinforce our call to action through email campaign as well as search and display ads. And then we will provide a new streamlined website, eliminating distractions, focusing on the end goal of driving pre-orders. And we do believe that in unison, these combined efforts will increase the rate of vehicle pre-orders. Thank you.